What's up, guys? Welcome back to Redneck Garage. It's been a little bit over a year and a half, probably closer to, since I posted a video for you guys at all, but let alone on my Powerstroke build that I started the channel for. A lot of things have happened over the past year and a half, and one of which is I moved. In that move, I somehow managed to lose all my footage, so I had everything videoed up and I was just waiting to edit it. Didn't have the time. By the time I got around to, hey, let's make sure to get that stuff done, couldn't find an SD card with all my footage on it. So I'm just going to walk you guys through kind of where the truck is at right now, the bigger things that you maybe wouldn't have expected going into a build like this, and then some of the other things that I swapped just because I could. So yeah, let's get into the truck itself. So obviously I got a 96 at 350. I had a 351 in it. And I put a 97 7.3 Powerstroke. Look at the front of the truck. Obviously you can see I don't have the grill lights in it. And there's still quite a bit to be done to the truck. But if you know much about these trucks, that doesn't look right. So that's a 2001 intercooler. I still have to build brackets for it, but it is connected. So looking at the top of the motor, again, if you know much about these, that doesn't look right. That's not the Valley of a 97. So all of this stuff come off a 2001. We get fuel bowl, fuel lines going down to the side of the motor, turbo, and obviously intercooler piping, downpipe as well. You can kind of see back there, I've got some cuts into the firewall because this truck came with the turbo setup that I bought off of a guy had a ridiculously sized 4-inch downpipe, and I didn't feel like spending the money on a different one, so I just made it work. So I ended up cutting into the firewall and building kind of a box around it. You can see it right there. In order to fit it, I also had to put a 2-inch body lift in this to fit the turbo and intercooler in between the firewall. Kind of dented it a little bit before I put the 2-inch body lift. It wasn't quite enough. So 2-inch body lift in order to clear all that stuff. So that was kind of what I was alluding to of what I was hoping to do to this truck. Otherwise, in the first video, and I didn't really want to say it because I didn't have my hands on these parts yet. So that's really the only changes that I did to the 97. With that, I had to pull the mechanical fuel pump out of it. So I've got an electric fuel pump down here on the rail. I've still got a bracket to it, and wire it in. I just ground it out to a body mount when I'm trying to move the truck. It does run, does drive. I don't have a rear drive shaft for it yet. I'm still working on getting one, but I have the front drive shaft in so I can move it. So as far as stuff that I had to do for the swap, I had a 97 parts truck that I pulled everything out of, so I didn't really have to worry about the wiring and whatnot. All the plugs, the modules, everything like that came in the 97, and it's a direct swap over. So I just bolted it into this truck and called it good. I do have some wiring issues. It sat for a while, so mice got into it. I've got little issues I got to fix there. But I think the biggest issue that I had on this swap that I wasn't exactly expecting was this front cross member. I probably should have expected it. I just didn't think of it. So this front cross member has to be swapped over from a 351 to a Powerstroke cross member, and it's welded and riveted. So I had to cut the rivets out of it, pound those out, and then I had a very difficult time trying to cut the welds out of the side of it. I just ended up cutting it in weird ways to get it out, and then welded this one in. When I pulled this one out of my parts truck, I just cut the frame rails, the main frame rails around the cross member, and then ground them down in order to get the cross member usable. And then this is the one that I had an issue with because I couldn't cut the frame rails. But I think that was really the biggest issue that I had on this swap. Otherwise, everything pretty much bolts up. With obviously having a full parts truck. Pulled the whole dash out of the other truck, all dash wiring and all that stuff. Probably could have done some more reading and figured out what I could have kept and what I could have left, but I just found it easier to put the whole dash and everything in. As you can see, the truck's gutted still, haven't done anything here. Truck's really been on the back burner with a lot of the life changes and whatnot. Kind of don't have the money for this thing right now. Really want to get it finished. It's gotta wait. So for now, that's where it's at. Like I said, plenty to do. Front's got to go back in it. Interior's got to go back in it. I guess that's really it, other than the drive shaft. But as far as trying to get this truck restored, I've got a lot of sanding, a lot of painting that I'm hoping to do to it, and then hopefully cleaning up this engine bay a little bit and making it look a little bit better. But that's where it's at. Does run. Show you guys that. I did have it running a couple of minutes ago because it's January and it's been sitting. So use the old Duramax, try to get this thing started, and see if she starts now. She's not going to start. But give me a couple minutes and I'll get the booster cables back on and get this thing fired up. And we'll be back in just a second. Alrighty, so I got my booster cables hooked up to the old Duramax. Like I said, it's getting an electric fuel pump. I just ground it out right here. You have that kick in. And maybe I'll just let this thing sit for a second, put some charging on the battery before this will start. We'll give her a shot. There she goes. Typical 7.3 doesn't like to start. Any questions on the build, you know? I'm trying to answer anything you got, but I think that's just about everything.